In this video, I'm going to pull back the curtain and show you 4 different Amazon businesses plus their entire revenue for the last 2 years. The reason I'm doing this is so that you can look at different seasonal patterns across different types of Amazon businesses. And what I want you to go away with at the end of this quick video is to say, okay, that's my seasonal pattern. That reminds me a lot of my own business. And here's how I should strategize around the different seasonal patterns that I face in a year. Okay. And the last business that we look at is just enormous. So that'll be fun as well. Okay. So the first type of Amazon seasonal pattern that we see, and it's a very common one, is a Q4 heavy seller. Right. So these guys live, breathe, die, eat, sleep by Q4, right? That's their peak season. This is very common with products that are very giftable, as you can imagine. So jewelry, chocolates, all sorts of toys, pajamas, socks, mugs, anything customizable, that sort of thing, right? And so, as you can imagine, with products like that, they sort of trundle along for most of the year. They do okay, and don't get me wrong, you can raise this baseline number by a lot. You could do tens of thousands in revenue a month that way if you wanted, but disproportionately far and away, you just get on this rocket ship starting sometime in November and boom, it takes off, and then it tanks again at January 1st with people's credit cards maxed out, and then the cycle starts again. Right? It's not necessarily you should fight a pattern like this. It's more that you just want to optimize around it, right? And the way that you do this, the secret is that it does not take place in December at all. The real battle is fought much earlier in the spring and in the summer, right? These months here. These are the months that you're increasing your conversion rates on your listing by optimizing them. You're launching new enhanced brand content. You're launching Amazon ads and doing a lot of keyword discovery. So, stuff like, figuring out what works in your automatic campaigns, moving them to manual, testing new types. Sponsored displays out now, different types of sponsor brands, right? You want to be sweating in practice so you bleed less in battle, and all that stuff is figured out here. So while it may look like, you know, all the action takes place in December, this is already baked in. This is already cooked by the time you get to, November 1st, right? For the most part, at this point, you're just doubling down on what you found to work earlier on in the year, right? And so it's not a sleepy seasonal business that everybody thinks it is. This is just your time on stage, but this is all your practice and your rehearsal time, so to speak. Okay. So the next type has this same spike, but it's shifted backwards into the spring. So this is the summer blockbuster, right? And this is a totally different business, different revenue level, different products, different lineup. But what they sell, it basically is like a spring product. Think about like sleeping bags or fire pit stuff, roasting marshmallow sticks, containers to keep drinks cool, camping accessories, sports and outdoor stuff, right? And so you'll see similarly, okay, maybe we see a little bit of fitness enthusiasts buying stuff at the start of the year, or people going camping in the dead of winter. I'm not here to judge. And then boom, right? You see a spike, not as pronounced as Q4 because everybody has a specific gifting deadline in Q4 for the most part based on the holiday that they're celebrating. But summer, it's a bit of a slower burn. Yeah, so then the sales spike here, and then the weather gets cold, and people get less interested, and then it starts over again, right? So just a different model, but the same principle applies. You're going to want to put a lot of emphasis on keyword discovery, listing optimization here and here, so that you can rock it up as much as you would like in the summer. Okay. And so that's the summer blockbuster model. It's similar to the Q4 rocket, but it's just a different time of year. This one is interesting. This is the annual incline, and if you're into peace of mind and if you like sort of sleeping well at night, this might be a good model for you to explore. Basically, your products start pretty slow like most products do in January, but then you creep up and you sort of do pretty well for the rest of the year, and maybe you have a little Q4 bump as well, right? So the arrow looks like a gentle slope up and to the right, and then it just cycles back and restarts the next year, and on you go, preferably upwards and upwards, right? In these graphs, I should mention the blue line is this year, the red line is last year, right? So if the blue line is above the red, it means we're doing better than last year. If it's not, it means we're doing worse. We like to see Amazon sellers growing at 10% a year minimum. in order to sort of keep up with the growth of the overall marketplace. Right? And I should mention too, if you have one of these businesses and you have a really seasonal business right now, and you would like something more stable, you can certainly do that. Right, it's just a matter of adding more products to your selection. But if you actually sort of like storing up a lot of energy and then taking off hard in a certain season, you can do that as well, right? And the last one, which is even sort of a flatter version of this annual incline model, is the straightaway, right? There is a consistent number of sales throughout the year, pretty straight line, and you want to you know do better than last year for every month of the year. So blue should always be above the red line every single time. Doing well. Just this is recorded in September, so just ignore this because the month's not over. It thinks it has low sales, but the month's not done. So anyway, but yeah, so this is very common in really, as you can imagine, pretty non-seasonal industries, pet, home and kitchen to a certain extent, industrial and scientific, depending on the products. Right, this is a very stable. Nice to own business, probably fewer gray hairs at times, but also you don't necessarily get that pop that someone may enjoy with one of the other models. So the question is, which one are you, and how are you going to account for this as you run the Amazon business? Because we can only get into so many details here, I wrote you a free 40-page book with a bunch more analysis, insights. Took years of work to put that together. So I will drop that for you. It's totally free, actually. So it's just my gift to you. I'll drop that in the comments of this YouTube video, and I'll see you on the other side. Take care.